Hi, my name is Tom Haddy and I'm the author and creator of this new YouTube channel dedicated to mixed martial arts and to boxing. Today we're going to look at a great boxing match projected for 2025 between two of the greats of our generation, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. This is Crawford at the top, this is Alvarez at the bottom. This is Riyadh Caesar, the promoters who are promoting the matchup. This is me. Please support my channel. This is both an MMA and a boxing channel. I have lots of people who visit, but I don't have too many people who subscribe. So please add a like, and subscribe, and please add a comment. I really do read your comments. Let's have a look at Terence Crawford. Now, Terence Crawford won his first world title by going into Ricky Burns' back garden in Glasgow. Burns is a tough competitor. Crawford demolished him. He then beat Gamboa. Then he went on to beat Ray Beltran, who was actually very unfortunate. Beltran had earlier fought Burns for the world title, but it was a draw. That was never a draw. You know, Beltran was definitely robbed. So Beltran should have been a world champion. But two great fighters, Burns and Beltran, great fighters. A good fighter, Gamboa. Postol, a great fighter. Diaz, a very good fighter. Ndongo, a great fighter. So you'll see that Crawford has fought some really good opponents here. Jeff Horn, a boxer teacher, a good fighter. Jose Benavidez, a good fighter. Amir Khan, world class. Brook, world class. Sean Porter, world class. David Avanasian, world class. Spencer, world class. Not as distinguished as Crawford, but certainly world class, and Israel Madrimov, world class. So what can we say about this phenomenon? Well, his strengths and weaknesses, let's have a look. He's one of the most adaptable fighters in boxing. He can seamlessly switch between orthodox and southpaw stances. He can keep his opponents off balance, and they're not able to adjust. His ability to make in-fight adjustments allows him to instantly seize on any opponent weakness that manifests itself. He is a master tactician. Him and his coach have learned the language of boxing and kinesiology. They know exactly how to understand and detect weaknesses in their opponents. He has an uncanny ability to predict and counter an opponent's moves. He has a very high knockout ratio. His defense is very, very sophisticated. It's often spoken ill of. He has a great defense. And he has this great counter-punching ability which allows him to punish opponents who overcommit. He's mentally tough. He's a street fighter. He's always composed under pressure. He has a relentless killer instinct to finish off an opponent who's weakened. He's got quick hands, excellent reflexes, and can maintain a high pace. What can we say about his weaknesses? Well, no one's actually discovered his weaknesses, but we can say it does take him a few rounds to analyse. What he does is he observes the body language, facial language, body language, the confidence of his opponent. He looks at his movement systems, his kinesiology, and then plans a strategy. Now, he can be occasionally reckless. He tends to go aggressively for the finish. That can leave you open to counters with a very sophisticated opponent. He has dominated his opponents, but critics argue that he's faced limited elite competition. Well, that is partly true, but he has faced a lot of very, very good fighters. His adaptability is a strength, but once opponents adjust to his rhythm or southpaw stance, they can find openings. He has moved up many weight classes, but he's not actually the biggest welterweight. So we can say we know that he's one of the world's great fighters. Who does he compare with? He compares with Naoya Inoue. He compares with Alexander Usyk. And of course he compares with Canelo Alvarez. These are the four leading boxers in world boxing today. Let's find out a little bit about his forthcoming opponent, Canelo Alvarez. Well, this guy is a phenomenon. When you see the people he's actually beaten, let's go and start at the start of his career. Let's have a look here. He won the world title by beating the Briton Matthew Hatton. He retained it against the Briton Ryan Rhodes. He retained his WBC light middleweight title by beating one of the world great boxers, Shane Mosley. He then also beat Austin Trout, one of the world's great boxers. He then lost, unfortunately, his only loss to Floyd Mayweather. No, he's lost to Floyd Mayweather and Bivol, but that was his first loss. I think his most painful loss, because he feels if he had fought Mayweather when he was more mature, he would have beaten him. He beat Erislandy Lara, a great fighter. Kirkland, a great fighter. He beat Miguel Cotto, a great fighter. Amir Khan, a great fighter. Liam Smith, great fighter. He beat an old Julio Cesar Chavez, a great fighter. He beat... he drew with Golovkin on the first occasion. Beat Golovkin on the second occasion. Beat Daniel Jacobs. Beat Kovalev. Beat Callum Smith. So we've pretty much looked. He has an outstanding record. But for those two losses, I think he'll try and reverse the defeat against Bivol. I don't think he will succeed, but I think he might be tempted to try. And I don't think he'll tempt Mayweather back into the ring. Mayweather is street smart. He knows he's not going to beat an Alvarez. So what can we say about Canelo Alvarez? He's a master at reading opponents. He has exceptional head movement, footwork, upper body control. His timing and precision are uniquely definitive. He's one of the best body punchers in boxing. I can only think of Naoya Inoue to compare with him. His power translates effectively across the multiple weight divisions. So he's fought from super welterweight up to light heavy. He is a complete fighter, capable of boxing off the back foot, pressurizing opponents or fighting in close. He has fought many elite fighters. To his credit, Golovkin, Mayweather Jr., Kovalev, Dmitry Bivol. He wasn't always successful. He lost to Mayweather. He lost to Bivol. But he's never, ever... I don't think he's ever ducked. I know a lot of people are saying he should be fighting Benavidez. He'll fight Benavidez quite soon. But he's a real tough guy. He doesn't duck anyone. But what about his weakness? Well, Floyd Mayweather gave him a masterclass. But Floyd Mayweather, as a supreme athlete, boxer, actually took on a very young Canelo. I don't think he would have done that to a slightly more mature Canelo. Now, Canelo's output can drop in the later rounds. That's an observable fact. And he does sometimes struggle against taller opponents who can maintain the distance with a strong, consistent jab. The jab was what was successful for Bivol. Bivol is not a natural light heavyweight. He has, as I say, he's fought there a couple of times, but he's not a natural light heavyweight. Now, what about his foot speed? Well, to be honest, his foot speed isn't as explosive as some of his peers. He has great head and upper body movement. These are both elite, but his foot speed and foot movement is not quite as accomplished as others. Canelo has a calculated style, and he can sometimes struggle to keep up with relentless activity. Okay, so this is the big fight. We don't know when it's going to happen. We know it's going to be in 2025. We know it's going to be authored by the Saudi Arabian boxing promoter and boxing promotion Riyadh Season. This is Canelo. This is Crawford. And this is my channel, Tom Hadding and MMA. It's also unboxing. Now, I've got to pick. I think it's a brave man that would pick this. I mean, my heart says... Crawford, my head says Canelo, but my final version is going to be, I'm going to go with my heart. So I'm going to take Crawford to win that matchup.